Hey guys, John Ways, HypnoKick.com, and we are here today with one of the only nuns I've ever had for religion teacher growing up, Sister Marie. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome, dear.
And we're here because I've heard a ridiculous amount of accusations about what I do for my job as a hypnotist, stage hypnotist, hypnotherapist, and how I'm evil. I praise the devil, I raise demons from hell and into people's bodies. Oh yeah, on a daily. And
You never did that in religion class. I'm originally from Lafayette, Indiana, and I grew up in the Catholic school system, and then I went to Purdue for a while, and then I got a degree at Indiana University when I was here at the convent. After that, I was sent to Rome to study theology, and I studied there for 5 years, and I got a degree in fundamental theology, but then I also got a master's in spiritual theology. And so some of the topics that we will talk today kind of I've had that background, learning what the great minds of spirituality, especially in the Christian tradition, have said about mystical states and all this, and is what you're doing inducing mystical states, and So I think I think I do have a little bit of a background to go upon. I wouldn't call myself a full-blown theologian. I'm a theology teacher. I do love theology. It's my passion. It's my life. But I'm sure there's people that could speak more articulately on this in the Catholic Church, but I think I have enough of working knowledge to, that we can have a good discussion here.
well, considering a lot of them come to me and trust me, I'm pretty sure they'll just take your word, because I trust you and they trust me, so by default.
Give sources too. Sources are always good.
This is not what you think it is if you're what I consider a religious extremist and think I'm evil.
Okay.
That's usually how I put it.
Okay.
I just try to avoid Catholic schools.
Or it could be somebody's just scared.
Yeah, don't be scared. I swear to God. You can ask her. I'm not a
religion and fear is a terrible combination, I think the Lord says to us all the time in the Bible. So, the great quote is 365 times it is said in Scripture, do not be afraid. And I think that's really important when we're talking about things like this. Sometimes it's easier for us to give credit and power to evil that doesn't belong there.
Which is interesting, because then that's literally you giving yourself to it and thinking that it's because of me.
Could be.
But I think that also goes hand in hand with people fear what they don't understand.
Right.
And that's part of why we made HypnoKick, to make it very, very simplistic for any and everyone who comes to this website to get the free hypnosis training ebook, or to have these free weekly blogs or videos that actually explain different aspects of hypnosis. And in this case,
hypnotism in and of itself is a tool. It is benign. It is not evil. It is not good. It's how you use it. So it's very much like the internet. We were talking earlier, when I think about the internet, there's great good that's coming out of it. People supporting each other, like some of these Kickstart programs, that they have, or pages, excuse me. And, if somebody, I know in my family, if people have been ill, they can put up a page and people can help out, like the dinners and good. I mean, there's a lot of good things on the internet. There is an incredible amount of evil on the internet, Yeah. I mean, human trafficking probably is run basically through the internet, would be my guess, as one example. And then there's benign things on the internet. So for example, you go to YouTube, you're bored, you look up a picture of a ninja cat, a video of a ninja cat, and you giggle. Well, that's nice, but it's not really evil or good, it just is.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a tool. And I would say so is hypnotism. Am I correct?
Yeah.
In your view?
I am me. Yeah. A lot of people, it does come down, I like that, it does come down to the intentions, and a lot of people are wondering what I'm going to do. And I always mention before my high school shows or before my college shows that I'm here to have fun, and I want you guys to have fun. And I tell people that I promise them, I absolutely promise that the people who volunteer to come up on stage can and will end up having the most fun out of everyone in the room, more so than the people in the audience. The audience will love seeing what happens, but if people want to be completely mentally and physically stress-free, and they want to have fun, have an experience that they're not likely going to have again for quite a while, then come up on stage.
There's a misunderstanding of hypnotism. Hypnotism, actually, I've got the American Psychological Association definition here. Would you like to hear it?
Yes.
I bet you don't know it. Hypnosis is a therapeutic technique in which clinicians make suggestions to individuals who have undergone a procedure designed to relax them and focus their mind. So, a hypnotee, would you call it that, I guess? Yeah. Okay, is somebody who is in a very relaxed state and who is incredibly focused on probably what you're saying or doing. Okay, all right. In that moment, unless this person has some kind of profound psychological weakness or has some kind of incredible vulnerability, okay, and hopefully you wouldn't prey on people like that. That I know he doesn't. This person's will is always intact. This person at some place knows what they're doing, and they have agreed to this. So if I start barking like a dog, then it's because you hypnotized me before and I agreed to it, and I thought it'd be kind of funny for this video, just intermittently throughout bark like a dog. Yeah. I
told her when I went to Vegas and I was hypnotized by a Canadian that he said, you're going to wake up, because we were on the strip of Las Vegas, he said, you're going to look at the jazz player, you're going to start dancing to him, then you're going to go up to him and dance next to him while he plays. I woke up, I started dancing, and then he goes, cool, now dance next to him, and I stopped. I immediately looked at him, I said, no. He said, why? I said, I'm not comfortable.
There you go.
You have control. You never don't have control. And people who say that you don't have control or that they didn't know what was going on, they probably didn't know what was going on because they had induced amnesia at the end of the show. They know what's going on. We always compare it to adults drinking. When you've had a few too many.
It's just going there. I was just going to go there.
When you've had a few too many, you know what's going on, but everything seems like a good idea.
There are 3 points that we would look at, and I would add 4 actually. Okay. 4 points that we would look at in like in one of your shows. Okay. Number 1, is the person who is being hypnotized free? Have they come by their own accord? Do they understand what's going on?
Yes.
Okay. And I would add there, do they have the psychological strength? I mean, you're not preying on them.
Yeah. Side note. Yeah. Before I start my shows, I always say if you have any psychological issues, joint issues, or you're pregnant, do not volunteer.
Okay. All right. Because you can put them in labor?
No, because if they have a baby, and we do certain inductions, for example, Zap is one where you kind of shake their hand really roughly, and it might cause them to turn over or flop off a chair. That would mess with the baby.
Oh, that's very respectful. Okay. So the freedom of the person that's hypnotized. Second of all, the morals of the hypnotist himself.
Okay.
He's got to have some kind of moral life, and I really don't see him as evil unless he has a duplicitous life he's not telling me about.
I think that's called dual personality. What is it called? Split personality?
Yeah, something like that. Okay. Yeah, he's a good guy.
As an amateur psychologist, I feel like I should know that term, but no. Like I said, I've already told you some of the routines that they don't even know if they haven't seen my show, and does any of that sound evil?
No. Okay. No. It just sounds like the real ability to the power of suggestion and also the sleight of the hand kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, she loves that stuff.
Yeah.
I just told her so.
His card tricks are amazing. Amazing. All right. Sometimes he comes to my class and does card tricks for the kids.
They don't let me do that anymore.
No.
They won't let me in. They're like, you have to wait until the end of class. That's why I don't.
It's because you're getting too old and they're thinking you're getting creepy. I guess you have to get a job there. You should tell you don't look like a kid anymore.
You should tell the office to let me in.
Well, if I did, they would. Okay. Then number 3. The purpose for why you're using this. Okay. I have seen things on television, growing up and stuff where hypnotists have done things to denigrate people, to make them look ridiculous, or to make them sexually provocative, or to display sexual behaviors that you wouldn't do in public normally. Okay, so again, behind that, the person has willed that this is okay. Okay, but in our understanding of the sacredness of the body, that wouldn't be a cool thing to do, in a Christian understanding, okay? So something like that, not cool. Okay, and then the 4th thing, which I would add, is the morality of the one being hypnotized.
Okay.
Right? Because they could play you think about it.
They could try.
Yeah.
Because one thing that we're trained, and one thing I train my students in, is body language and understanding, because there's very different body language of someone who's genuinely hypnotized versus someone who's faking it.
Yeah. The only real document ever put out by the church regarding hypnosis was, I think it was called Christ Bearer of Water, that came out. And they were talking about the New Age movement. And the concern for a Christian on the New Age movement is that in the end, I am God. The I of me becomes a universal I, and we are God. That is not our faith. That's faith of some other people. That's not our faith. And so people were getting confused in Christianity about New Age movement versus Christian mysticism and spirituality. And so the church just put out a document about that. And in there, they made a side note about hypnosis. And what it basically is saying that some people in the New Age movement were using hypnosis to enter into this meditative state of oneness with the universal consciousness. And, so that wasn't our faith. But there's never been anything where it said that hypnosis is evil. It's just been kind of quiet. Because again, it's a tool. Now, the church would, or a priest or a sister or whatever, who really knew their stuff, could see if there was, go back to those 4 points. Is there immorality going on here between the two? Is there a prey on the vulnerable? Is the situation being used for evil, not for good? I mean, that's what you would look for. But saying hypnosis in itself, I think one of the things that we can always look at in life is the fact that God doesn't create evil things. He can't. He's good. Goodness creates goodness. So if hypnosis is a thing that God has allowed and permitted, all right, then there must be some avenue for good in it. It's like alcohol. People will say to me, how dare you Catholics drink alcohol? This is such an evil thing. Well, wait a minute. Why did God create it? Now, can I misuse alcohol? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Intentions of the beholder.
Yeah, exactly. But in the Psalms, I think it's the Psalms or Proverbs, I can't remember, it says wine, makes the heart merry, and then you stop. You know what I mean? It's one of the joys of life, but used in its proper context.
If you grew up in the Catholic community, the ironic thing is that many of the individuals from that community may still look down on hypnosis, or you, the hypnotist, if you're beginning to practice the skill. I say ironic because I found it interesting that the Catechism of the Catholic Church, a book from which states that the Catholic Church itself says that the morality of the human act depends on the object chosen, the intention, and the circumstances of the action. The object chosen is a good towards which the will deliberately directs itself. In contrast to the object, the intention resides in the acting subject. The intention is a movement of the will towards an end. It is concerned with the goal of the activity. The circumstances, including the consequences, are secondary elements of a moral act. They contribute to increasing or diminishing a moral goodness or evil of human acts. For example, the amount of a theft. Therefore, as quite literally stated by Sister Marie herself, hypnosis itself is neither good nor bad. It's neither evil nor holy. It simply is. Again, it's the intention of the hypnotist that ultimately determines whether or not the psychologically and scientifically backed tool known as hypnosis is good or bad. Still, I know that there are plenty of other religious individuals that identify more with Christianity or other forms or branches of Christianity to know that some will reject the ideologies of the Catechism and want to stick strictly to the Bible itself for guidance, so let's explore that a bit. There are actually numerous passages in the Bible itself where religious figures are known to enter trance to actually connect with, if not communicate or receive a message from the higher being God. For example, in Acts chapter 10, verse 10, it says, "But he became hungry and was desiring to eat, but while they were making preparations, he fell into a trance." Likewise, in Acts chapter 22, verse 17, "It happened when I returned to Jerusalem and was praying in the temple that I fell into a trance." And if you're not convinced that the trance mentioned in your Bible is a synonym for hypnosis, I did some due diligence for you and Googled synonyms for trance, and lo and behold, hypnotic state was literally one of the first results. Yet again, as Sister Marie touched upon earlier, if it's created by God and it's literally in the Bible, can it really be that bad? Especially if biblical figures are entering the state themselves to personally connect, if not communicate, with God. For those saying stage hypnosis shows are still evil, no, they're not. However, if the stage hypnotist themselves tries forcing their will on one or multiple volunteers, then yes, I would full-heartedly agree with you that that specific hypnotist should be avoided at all costs. However, with a little research on Google or YouTube, you should be able to easily find a hypnotist you can trust to either entertain you for comedic purposes or help you in a therapeutic manner. If you're still hesitant or nervous, then I would encourage you to reach out to the hypnotist you'd actually personally like to work with and cover any questions, concerns, anxieties you may have regarding achieving your goals with hypnosis. I've found that you can pretty easily tell whether or not you'll want to work with someone by a simple 10 to 15 minute chat over the phone. So there you have it. From an actual nun all the way to the Holy Bible itself, there's plenty of proof that there's no need for you to fear hypnosis. You should always, however, be wary of, research, and question a hypnotist you may like and want to work with. Regardless if you want to experience hypnosis for recreational or therapeutic purposes, doing your own due diligence will help ensure that you receive the positive experience that you ultimately desire. Whether you're religious and trying to figure out how you think and feel about hypnosis, or you're a hypnotist trying to figure out a way to tell your weary family and friends that you're not a devil worshiper, I hope this free hypnosis lesson helped you. Link to all the sources used in this free hypnosis lesson, plus more, will be linked in the description. To any hypnotists watching this, HypnoKick has both affordable home-based trainings as well as a mastermind program to help you achieve your goals. So whether you're a hobbyist or aspiring professional entertainer, HypnoKick.com is here to help.